the limitation of civil disobedience movement. So let's see what was the limitation of this civil disobedience movement. What was the reason behind the failure of this civil disobedience movement? Okay. The most important reason behind the failure of the civil disobedience movement was number one, Congress ignored Dalits and depressed classes in order to please high caste Hindus. So hence participation of depressed classes were limited. So during that time, as you all know, that there was a lot of discrimination between high caste people and low caste people. So uh, due to this reason, the Congress ignored the Dalits and depressed class in order to please high class, as these high class Hindus were financing money in the movement. That is the reason why, to please them, they ignored the depressed class people and their participation was limited. Okay. Number two is Congress associated with Hindu religion nationalist groups. So Congress party was one of the major party that time, and the Congress started associating with Hindu religious nationalist group, hence less Muslim participated. So as our country was a Hindu dominated party, and this Congress, most of the leaders of the Congress were Hindus, so that is the reason why they started associating with the Hindu religious nationalist groups, and this was not liked by most of the Muslim, and there was at least there was no Muslim participated in this movement. Okay. Number three, there was a distrust between communities alienated from Congress, and hence large section of Muslims did not respond to civil disobedience movement. Okay, so there was distrust between the Muslim party and the Congress party. Okay, so Muslim used to think that if the India is Hindu dominated country, and if this Congress party will come in power, then they will dominate the Muslim party. So this Muslim used to think like that, and most of the Muslim because of that reason also they didn't participated in the civil disobedience movement. Number four is rich peasants were disappointed with movement was call up. So at this civil disobedience movement was called off by the Mahatma Gandhi before. Okay, so this was not liked by the rich peasant, as this movement was going on full force that time only what happened, the Mahatma Gandhi called off this movement, and this was not liked by the rich peasant who were financing the money in the movement during that time, and as a result the revenue was Revenue Act was not revised during that time. Okay, so because of this reason, the rich peasants did not participated in the relaunching of civil disobedience movement. Okay, fifth point is Congress was closer and supported industrialists. So Congress, they were close to this industrialist, and this industrialists were not liked by most of the Indian labor, as this industrialists they used to torture the Indian laborers. Okay, so this, because of this reason also, most of the laborers they did not participate in the movement. Okay, so this all are where the reason behind the failure of civil disobedience movement. Okay, so after the failure of civil disobedience movement, there was a Pune Pact signed between Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who was Dalit leader, signed between B.R. Ambedkar and British government in September 1932. Okay, so Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who organized Dalits into the different classes, asserted and demanded separate electorate for the Dalits. So as these Dalits uh, were as these Dalits were considered as low caste people, that's why this all these things were not liked by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and he demanded separate electorate for the Dalits to the British government, and the British government agreed to give separate electorate for the Dalit people during that time. Okay, so when the British government uh, agreed Dr. B.R. Ambedkar to give a separate electorate for the Dalit people, that time Gandhiji didn't like this decision made by the British government, and he started fasting until death, okay, against this Pune Pact. Why he did so is because he used to believe that the separate electorate for Dalits would slow down the process of their integration into the society. He used to believe that this separate electorate will divide the society and it will slow down the process of national movement. Okay, but Ambedkar also ultimately accepted Gandhiji's position, and as a result, Pune Pact of September 1932 was signed. Okay, and according to this pact, it gave the depressed classes reserved seats in provincial and center legislative council. Okay, according to this pact, it gave the reserved seats for the depressed class people in the legislative council and provincial council. Okay, so now with this we come to the uh, last topic of this chapter, that is sense of collective belonging. So, what rose the feeling of sense of collective belonging during the time of freedom struggle among the different sections of the people of our country? So, what were the reason behind bringing the feeling of sense of collective belonging during the time of freedom struggle in the different uh, communities of the people of our country? So, what were those reasons? Let's study about that. First is united struggle. So, during the time of freedom struggle, what happened? The people from different communities, different region, whether he is rich or poor, without differentiating between any caste or creed, people from different sections, they came out of their house and they fought against the started fighting against the British. So this was and they started fighting unitedly for the freedom of the country. So this is also the reason why uh, uh, it brought the feeling of nationalism in the minds and hearts of the people during that time. The image of Bharat Mata was first created by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, and he, along with it, wrote Bande Mataram song also. So, uh, all those things also contributed a lot to arouse the feeling of sense of belonging or nationalism in the people of India. Okay, Indian folk songs or folk tales that was sung by the freedom fighter during that time also contributed a lot in arousing the feeling of the nationalism. Okay. Next important point which arose the feeling of nationalism or the feeling of sense of collective belonging was nationalism through Indian ancient history. So another means of creating feeling of nationalism was explaining the meaning of history again. So the nationalist writer urged the readers to take pride in Indian great achievement in the past and struggled to change the miserable condition of life under the British rule. So now the nationalist leader, they urged people to take pride on the Indian achievement that they made in the past. So that also created a feeling of self belonging and the nationalism in the people during the time of the struggle. Okay, so these are all the major points that belonging this that brought the feeling of nationalism and that brought the feeling of sense of collective belonging during the time of the freedom struggle. Okay, so with that, this long chapter, the nationalism in India, comes to an end. And if you have any queries regarding any of the topic that you don't understand, didn't understand, then you can text me in the message. Okay, all your home assignment will be uploaded in your group itself. So, uh, with that note, stay home, stay safe, keep learning, and have a nice day. Thank you for watching this video. So, with this, we come to the conclusion of this long chapter, that is Nationalism of India. So, in the conclusion, what is there is that a growing anger against the colonial government, or the British government brought together the various communities, the various religion, the various people living in the different region of our country. It is this movement in which all the people, they came together and they fought against the British government and ultimately got the freedom. Okay, because of their struggle during that time, we are free and safe now. So, and remember, in history, dates are very important. So you have to remember all the dates in which all those incidents occurred. So it will not only help in your board exams, but also during your competitive exams.